Hi, welcome to another Translation Insider. Today we will be talking about our annual review of our pricing. It is an exercise that may be a little bit difficult for most of us, but one that has to be done, and we should always review our pricing and be updated with that, because obviously we can't work for free. So stick around and let's talk pricing. And let's talk pricing. Pricing is something that, from my own experience, it's not an easy thing to deal with, and a lot of us are always a little bit cautious and scared, I think that's the word, of increasing pricing and having this review for fear that they may lose clients. Well, let's face it, every company reviews their pricing. You get basically every year your utility companies will review your electricity bills and your gas bills, etc. The supermarkets review their pricing quite regularly, and of course we need to do the same, because after all we are providing a service, and obviously we need to be paid for that service, and that service needs to be updated and needs to be in sync with what the market price is. So to do this, and I know it might be a little difficult exercise for some, but you need to face this as part of your business, as part of running your business, because it is a part of running a business, and pricing and setting the right pricing for your service is obviously something that is very important. So what I usually do, and what I do every year, it's that I do a market study. I see what the inflation rate is, because obviously that's very important. Check what the inflation rate is in your country. Then have a little market study of how the prices are going in your country as well. Sometimes you may have a little help from your association, or even from forums like pros.com. I know pros.com has an average of what translators have declared that they charge in their website, so you can go there and use that as a reference. However, it always tends to be a little bit low, so because some translators don't update their rates on pros every year. Others don't even put their rates at all, and then it might give you a value that it's obviously not accurate to what is the market price. However, some associations may have that. They may have some surveys that they do to their members, and they may give you an insight of what the average is for your service. So you could use that. Obviously, it's very hard to see price lists, unfortunately, and I have addressed that before. And then you get all this information together, you see what the market is, where the market is going, especially in your specialization, in your field, what is the current situation with your market. And another thing that is very important is that you have, and I have said that before, you have a customer satisfaction survey. And on that survey, one of the questions that I encourage you to ask is if the client is happy with the pricing, and what do they think about your pricing. And that gives you an insight of what they think. Of course, there will always be, and sometimes cultural traces come handy here. Some clients will always say it's very expensive, or they say it's expensive, or something like that. But there are some clients that actually will give you a truthful insight, and that is important, because if you know what your clients actually think about what you're doing, um, it is easier for you when you feel more confident about making those changes. So, having all these factors, the inflation, what the market is at the moment in your area, in your country, and then you can obviously make an informed decision based on that. I strongly believe that you should review your pricing every year. I do review my pricing every year. At the end of the year, I always perform my price review. However, sometimes, and for extraordinary circumstances, such as what we're going through at the moment with the pandemic, I may defer that price review because of all the other factors that may be affecting the market. And since I work in aviation and tourism, obviously it wouldn't make sense for me to make a huge increase in pricing when my sector is actually suffering dearly with the effects of the pandemic. So you need to be obviously aware of what's around you. And I think that's the main thing. If you are aware of what's around you, if you are aware of the market, if you are aware of what your clients are doing, what your clients think of your pricing, and obviously the inflation, because everything, and usually companies calculate their rate increase, their pricing based on inflation, because that's how it is. Even wages should be increased based on inflation. Sometimes, unfortunately, that's not the case, but um, and that should be your main thing. You should be always your start point should be the inflation rate in your country, and then obviously you go and check all these other factors and come up with a price that obviously it's fair for you, that you can obviously survive and cover your costs and make some money, because it's always important that you run a profitable business, and also that is fair for your client, that you're not charging so much that it's totally impossible for your clients to pay, because that not only will cost you clients, of course, because if it's too expensive they won't hire you, of course, but it will also damage your reputation because they will see you as way too expensive. It's not that it's a balancing act. I don't agree that we should price ourselves too low, because that will also damage our reputation. And I have said that plenty times before. You could be seen as cheap and nasty, so that's not a good idea. And I've said it before. You should price yourself fairly. You provide a service, you know the value that you add to your client, you know how you help your client achieve their goals, and you should price yourself accordingly. Remember, you are adding value to your client, you are adding value to their companies or whatever they are trying to achieve. So, therefore, you should value yourself for that, and you should price yourself accordingly. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this week's Insider with pricing, with all this talk about pricing. If you want to know a little bit more about how you should make and how you should calculate your pricing when you're starting your business, and even if you want to completely change the way you charge, etc. As I said, and I've been saying, I have published a course about starting a business as a translator, where I addressed all these issues. You can learn about doing your own pricing, setting up your business, doing your business plan, your marketing plan, your website, your tools, etc. So I will leave the link below for both the English and the Portuguese version of the course. As I said before, the course are basically the same. The only difference between the two versions of this course is that in the English version you will have on the qualification module options for Australia and the UK, and for the Portuguese version you will have options for Portugal and Brazil. So therefore all the rest is the same thing, is only that little change there. So if you want, join me in this course and come and become a translator and get all the tips of how to start your business as a translator. Before I go, you know, the same old thing: share, subscribe, and click with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new insider every week. And I would like to thank you all for watching. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.